So very good morning, everyone, and thanks for joining our webinar today, hosted by GIZ Egypt, the MENA Observatory on Responsible AI, which is part of the Access to Knowledge for Development Center at the American University in Cairo in Egypt, and the Sustainability and AI Business Action Center, supported by the University of Sussex Business School, UK. Now, GIZ is the German Agency for International Development Cooperation, and I am Saurajit Iyer from the GIZ Egypt team. We have an interesting mix of speakers today to talk about AI-based models to apply in business and how these could yield productive business outcomes, and some examples that have worked in this space. We hope this session adds value to your work, and I will encourage you to type in your questions in the chat box during the webinar. With this, let me hand it over to Dr. Nagla Risk, a partner, founder, director from the MENA Observatory on Responsible AI. Over to you, Dr. Nagla. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Surajit. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. My name is Nagla Riz. I'm Professor of Economics and Founding Director of the Access to Knowledge for Development Center at the American University in Cairo's Munich School of Business, with our flagship project, the MENA Observatory on Responsible AI. Our webinar today is titled AI-based models to apply in business, co-organized with our partners, and I thank our partners very much. Very quickly, a brief statement on the topic: AI and business transformation. AI-based models are increasingly being integrated into business operations in MENA, covering customer services, marketing, finance, logistics, among others. While there is tremendous potential offered by AI, tremendous promise for efficiency, growth, and advancement, the technology also raises concerns such as those related to accountability, responsibility, inclusion, and regulatory alignment. The question then becomes, how can we capitalize on the promise of AI and harness its transformative potential, maximize benefits while mitigating and overcoming the peril, making sure it's built and deployed fairly, safely, transparently for the benefit of all. The purpose of our webinar, targeting an audience of Egypt's private sector SMEs. Our objective is to discuss and develop an understanding of AI-based foundational and proprietary models that may be applied in business sectors, understanding of ethical practices while applying AI in business sectors, and understanding the ways and means to adopt AI to yield productive business outcomes. A few words about our center. As I mentioned, we are hosted at the American University, based at the American University in Cairo, with our objective, responsible AI for policy, for practice, which is precisely where we are today: business community, entrepreneurship, connecting stakeholders, communities, and then also a responsible AI for everyone. It pertains to everyone's life in the region. Allow me to share some webinar logistics. Our team would share the slide about the logistics. The webinar is being recorded, duration 70 minutes, Q&A session in the end. However, you are encouraged to type in the chat box with the team answering them in real time. The rest of the questions will be covered during the Q&A segment. Please ask, if you post on social media, please mention the handles provided in the chat, and I'm asking the team to share on the chat our handles of the speakers, of everyone here. In the interest of time, I'm really honored to be joined by wonderful speakers. I will introduce them. That you can see their titles on the screen, and I've also asked our wonderful team at this Access to Knowledge for Development Center to share their bios on the chat in the interest of time. I am going to mention their first names. This is a friendly group, and also the challenge of my making a faux pas in the pronunciation. So we are joined by Dr. Wolfgang, Dr. Ning, Dr. Marwa, and Mr. Felix. What remains for me now, in the interest of time, is to introduce our keynote speaker, Mr. Wolfgang, who will talk to us in 20 minutes. And I leave the floor to you, Wolfgang, to share your thoughts. Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you for the kind introduction, and good to be here. Thank you for the invitation. Let me share my screen. So, yes, you can see that.
Yes.
So the next 20 minutes, I will be talking about two different topics. So the first topic is like what has changed over the last 10 years or so. and what was the old word of artificial intelligence? What is the new word? And then we will also talk about like if you apply artificial intelligence in your business, so what are the two main approaches? So how can you do that, and how can you go about it? And the presentation is based on a book I've written in 2022 about artificial intelligence and blockchain for social impact. And as you see, a lot has changed in the last couple of years. When we look back, it was what I call it the old world of AI is mostly about use cases by large companies. So, for example, you had the problem that Netflix or Spotify, they had like millions of clients on the platforms, and they had the issue like, how can I recommend the next song or the next video to them? Or, for example, the US Postal Services, they had like millions of letters they need to sort, and they were looking for ways how they can automatically scan and process the letters without manual help. And which is quite interesting. So there's just like a image here showing like what the machines need to learn here. And back in the 1990s, they had like 50% reliability. So like 1 out of 2 like a good match. And nowadays it's like 99% or more. So like as good as any human can do that, or even better. And we also had the issue that, for example, if you are a payment provider, how can you catch any kind of scam or fraud, or like how can you stop fraudulent payments on your platforms? Or something what is quite often discussed is how can you, I mean, people said, how can we replace doctors? It never happened, but how can you scan images, and how can you detect early signs of cancer and other signs of signs what you need to do? It was also very expensive. Please excuse the typo in the headline. I just did the slides, new slides for our session today, and then looking back, it was very expensive. So if you want to develop your own models, you need to have like deep pockets. And probably Felix can also talk about it later. It was very, very expensive. So if you want to run your models, you need to have like the processing units, the GPUs. You need to have a lot of data. You need to have like specialized knowledge to set up your models. And the estimates were always like a couple of millions to develop your large language models, for example. So, for example, here we had the like I think it's a very low estimate of 4 million to train GPT-3. People always say it's like more in the range of 100 million, but this was just the computing costs. And this changed in 2023 when we had the first open weight models. So people were really open sourcing the models. And nowadays you can just go on Hugging Face and download any type of model you want, and then you can just run it on your computer, or use something like Colab where you can just run it for yourself. And I'm always surprised to see like how much is out there. And then it's really like interesting to see that you can just get it for free out there. And what I said before is that nowadays it's getting really easy to develop your own AI models. I know some will disagree, and then yes, it's always a lot of things to consider. For example, for this presentation, I was doing like I was seeing how long will it take to predict the inflation model, the inflation data for the euro area, for the eurozone, and it took me like less than 30 minutes to come up with the AI-based prediction model for the eurozone. And we will come back to this later, because you will see this is the prediction here in 2021 for the next 48 months, which is like directionally correct. But of course, if you develop your AI predictions, there's always a lot of things which can happen. So, for example, it's easy to predict ice cream sales if you know people will eat more ice cream in summer. But it's hard to predict that Russia invaded Ukraine. It's hard to predict that the long-term effects of the pandemic. So there are really a lot of things what you need to keep in mind. And I think Nagla will also cover this in a way that you need to have like a lot of context, and you need to make sure that people understand that what you predict here, it's never 100% accurate. And I think this inflation data, it's a bit unfair, I have to admit, because like this was really the worst date to let it predict. But you see, if people come and say, I just use AI to predict whatever, you see, it's not very easy to do that. And something what I was talking with Surajit before is my impression is that enterprises are going to benefit disproportionately from artificial intelligence. And I'm happy that Nagla agrees to this, is because if you look at the typical scope of activities of a small and medium enterprise, you have, let's say you have 5 employees or you have 10 employees, and the employees need to do like everything. So you need to reply to clients, you need to create your business ads or your Google ads, you need to write the product descriptions for the online shop. So you see, it's like a lot of things you need to do. If you work for like a large multinational company, people will go crazy if you say, oh, I will just write the text for the online shop and I will reply to the clients and I will write reports for management. It's just not how things work. And this is something where SMEs are really benefiting from AI because they can use it in a much wider range. And also something what you need to keep in mind is that I rarely see cases where something is really end-to-end. So the client comes in and then the agent or the AI, the model does everything, and then the client comes back and gets this answer. Like mostly it's something like a mid-to-mid, what I put here, a mid-to-mid process where you say a human gets the request, the artificial intelligence model does something, does the task, and then the human replies again. So that's like a lot of the cases I see it's in this way. And this is something where SMEs can really benefit. And it's also something what I see in like all the cases is like large companies even prohibit their employees to use it as freely as they could. This is something what is also interesting is the cost of using the models via API. So API is something where you just use some kind of interface to run your operations. The initial models, they had cost like $120 per 1 million tokens. So one token is approximately one word, a bit less. And nowadays you have like quite good models. So let's take something like GPT-5. I was just looking up yesterday that nowadays costs like $1.25. So it's really like a decrease of 99% of the cost. So like a model nowadays costs like 1% of what it costs to run in a couple of years ago. And you even have like better model quality. And just to give you some examples here. So if you look at the book and then you want to process a complete book and upload the book, it costs you like either 1 cent if you take a cheap model or like $1.50, and then you can just process the complete book and get whatever you want out of it. So that's really quite impressive. The cost development. And so Rashid asked me to talk about like the business models we see. And what we see is there are 2 types of business, probably more, but let's say there are 2 types of business models. So the business model type 1 is using existing foundation models, something what is coming from OpenAI, from Google, AWS, Amazon Web Services, or Microsoft, and where you run your operations and you pay per second, per token, per word, per second you use it. And the reason is that it's unrealistic to build something competitive to Google or Amazon in a lot of spaces. And if you and this is a table showing the costs to transcribe 1 hour of content from speech to text. So someone speaking, you have your clients, and then they talk on the phone, and then you want to have it on paper. And for example, if you take these models, you pay as low as 18 cents per hour if you do it in batches. So if you can wait a bit and you don't need to have it in real time, you can pay up to 18 cents per hour, which means 5 hours of text cost you like less than $1 in processing costs, which is something which is quite hard to get on your own, or probably impossible to have the same quality, and that's why we see a lot of these cases. Something that I was also testing yesterday in preparation is what retailers use on the websites. So this is a wine store, and they have something like a chatbot on the website, and then you can ask, I don't know, I just did like something, and then I was asking, I'm doing chicken with pumpkin and tomato sauce. I'm not sure it tastes well, but just to get the responses. And then this is quite interesting. It's so you get something where they sell you products they have on their website. So they say, yes, if you want to have this and that, you can buy these 2 bottles and have something nice for your dinner, which is quite valuable. And then if you say that's like probably 200 tokens, it costs you like, I don't know, like not even 1 cent or even like a fraction of a cent to get these responses, which is a nice way to put it. In terms of ethical concerns, and then I was looking at Nagla here, it's something where we need to be a bit careful is if you look at mental health support, and then we have many cases where people say, yes, we just use ChatGPT to to address the mental health concerns of people. And I think there's some kind of benefit because we don't have as many psychologists as we want. So it's truly like something where you can use digital tools. But then again, it's like a big Pandora box you're opening here. Like if you outsource the mental health of people to AI. So it's like something like a fine balance or a fine line you need to get here right. And what they say is they use the OpenAI API, and they're using the content here. And just to give you some more examples, just to put it in some kind of context, if you use the GPT-5 models, or let's say the GPT like a nano model, like it's 80 cents. So people can write 10 books, and it would cost you like 20 cents to process what people are writing. So it's really like very, very cheap to get to run these models. Again, here, this is something where people, something like Khan Academy, it's some kind of personalized learning where you use digital tools to help people achieve their learning goals. So it's again here like a chatbot where you can start your learning. And the other thing is the other aspect for the last 5 minutes is about the business model type 2, where you say you build your own models. Let me give you like some considerations. The first thing is, if you build your own models, you need to think, do you have your own data? Do you have some kind of data you can use to build your tools? If not, there's no need to do that, really. You can just use any kind of open source model, and that's completely fine. And if you, for example, if you have like a lot of medical images or a lot of like, I don't know, like important text or client interactions, that's something you want to keep, and you want to keep like as your IP, then it makes sense to have your proprietary model. And also think, can you do something with the data? So for example, can you predict, so for example, it's easy to predict something like the retail demand based on the weather. So for example, you know that if there's a lot of, if there's some kind of soccer game, you might sell this and that because you know that. And you also need to consider that you need to, that the model per se is not complicated to build, but you need to build like a complete ecosystem. So you need to have like pipelines, you need to have, you need to process the data, you need to have, you need to clean the data. So that's a lot of things you need to consider. And you also need to consider that the data structure shifts quite frequently. So for example, you have changes in the government, you have changes in the inflation data, you have GDP, you have a recession instead of a growth area. So there are many things which you need to keep in account, which you need to take into account. And then you can start building your own data. Something where you always need to build your own data is if you analyze medical images. So for example, this is skin vision. So they offer something where you may take a picture of your skin, and then they can say if you need to see your doctor or not. Again, with all kind of issues, because the sensitivity is 95% and the specificity is 78%. So that means that they make you very more frequently as they probably should. So it's something what is happening there. This is also something what is quite nice if you are in agriculture and then you use images to screen and classify and cluster your products. That works quite nicely. Or if you something what I'm a big fan of is if you do if you have people with a speech disability, so that you can develop like very specialized and individual or personal speech recognition models. That's something what obviously helps a lot of people. So, and then if you have time, that's quite interesting how the app helps people with the speech impairment to get to help them make understood, which is obviously like a big problem for many people with disabilities. And let me use the last minute again as a way of caution, saying again, as I said at the beginning, it took me like 30 minutes, less than 30 minutes to come up with the AI-based inflation prediction model. But then again, there's no point if you have like the best model, but the prediction is not worth a lot. So just to show you that that the future is often hard to predict, and you need to take into account that is also sometimes easy to be fooled. Just consider how often you use some kind of a large language model, and the output is not as factual as it could be or as it should be. Okay, thanks a lot. I was trying to use my 20 minutes, Surajit. I hope that's you're happy, you're satisfied with me.
Thank you
And
so
then
much.
back
Yeah.
to Nagla, yeah, and then back
Yes,
over to
thank
you.
you. Yeah, great. You've certainly made excellent use of your 20 minutes, brilliant array of AI-based foundation and proprietary models and very useful information for businesses. Without further ado, and thank you very much, I will pass it on to Dr. Ning for the next talk. Thank you so much. Dr. Ning, go ahead.
Hello, everyone. Yeah, sure. Let me share my screen now. All right. So first, brief introduction. So I'm Ning, a Vice President of Solution and Delivery at 01.ai. So at 01.ai, we are a full-stack AI company founded by Dr. Kai-Fu Lee. We build world-class models, enterprise AI platforms, and also industrial solutions. So our mission is really to help governments and enterprise move from experimenting with AI to become a truly AI native company. Yeah. So in my role, I work with national leaders and Fortune 500 CEOs. So often acting as a trusted partner on AI strategy and transformation. So over the next few minutes, I'm like to share our perspective on how enterprise and even nations are moving beyond large language models towards the AI agents and AI native organizations. So we are going to start with models, move to agents, and end with what it really takes to make enterprise AI native. Right? Yeah. So let's begin with the evolution. We all winners. First come, chatbots. They answer questions, but only at a very basic level. And then come copilots, tools that can sit beside you, assisting in tasks like coding, drafting documents, and analyzing data. But today, we are really enter an era of agents. An agent doesn't just assist, it takes a goal, break it down into steps, and use the right tools and deliver the complete result. So this shift is the profile. Instead of asking, what can I do with AI, we now ask, what can I assign AI to do for me, right? So this is where AI start being a gadget and start becoming a true digital employee. And already we've seen this power of single agents. And one enterprise we work with use an agent to put together company earnings, scanning news, and generate a professional 50-page analysis stack. So normally a team of analysis would spend weeks doing that. The agent did in just minutes, right? But this real future goes beyond just single agents. We're starting to see the multi-agent systems, agent collaborating, reasoning, and self-organizing, right? Think about logistics. So one agent plan optimal routes, another negotiate supply rates, another ensure regulatory compliance. Together, they complete the task faster, cheaper, and with greater accuracy than any human team, right? So I think this is the enterprise of the future. Workflows, seamless share between humans and a network of intelligent agents. And this is why I say AI is no longer just a tool, and tools provide information, and software automates workflow, and agents deliver outcomes. So I think the ultimate goal is not just a nice demo or boosting productivity. It's a measurable business results. I think it's one of the discussed paper from Sequoia is talking about AI is a service, right? Result is a service using AI. So now we are talking about higher output, faster cycles, improved margins. So that's why government enterprise are embracing this shift. It's not just about saving costs. It's about, competitiveness, right? Competitiveness and creating an advantage that compound year after year. But obviously there's a gap. So on one side, AI companies excel in algorithms. On the right-hand side, they optimize benchmarks, build large models, and trace technical breakthroughs, but often they lack of industrial context, right? Proprietary data and understanding of how enterprise actually operate. On the other side, which is what we can see on the left, enterprise know their industry deeply, right? They understand their customers, process, workflows, but many still treat AI as an IT project, not a CEO level transformation. They rely on legacy vendors and old processes and hesitate to put their core business on AI hands. So I think neither this can succeed alone. I think this is why at the beginning of this year, we made a pivot decision around the AI. That's why we're trying to helping those traditional company to transform into AI company. So that decision was people from focusing solely on, building those largest models. So we are trying to build the platforms and also try to build agents that really can bring results to the organization. So we also launched a platform. It's called WorkWise. So it's a controllable enterprise large language model platform. So so I think this is platform you can use this firm to build those digital employees for the enterprise. And through this whole process, we learn an important truth. AI transformation only work if the CEO leads. So that's why we create this as business. It's called what we call executive AI partnership. We work directly with CEOs and leadership teams, embedding ourselves as a chief AI officer if needed. We align strategy, we design roadmaps, and we do the re-engineer workflows for the enterprise and take responsibility for the results. I think because enterprise AI is not just a technology challenge, it's a leadership challenge, right? So when the CEO leads, the entire organization could align around AI. So that's why you can really make a real transformation happen. And to support this, we build what we call WorkWise Enterprise platform. That's what we show you later. So think of this WorkWise platform as your super employees. It's a super capable because it's able to plan, execute, and adapt. It learns and improves continuously. And it can be onboarded in just days, not months, right? And it's fully secure. You can run it on your OGPU infrastructures with no data sent to overseas. And it also connects seamless into your existing systems like your ERP, your CRM, Office software, databases, and documents, knowledge base as well, right? So I think this is AI you can trust, deploy as a workforce within the enterprise. So I'm going to show you 2 demos to see how it works in practice. So this is one of the agents we built on the platform. So it's called industrial analysis. So you can also call external tools. So the problem is to build a proposal for Asian infrastructure investment bank to invest in the Belt and Road countries, for example. So it's starting to analyzing the building a plan, and then trying to use the workspace to connect to browsers, to connect to terminals, connect to coding tools, to kind of do all the searches and do the analysis and grab all the data and do the further analysis, and then continue to working. So just the whole progress is shown on the bottom right. Yeah. So now it's developing here, and eventually it's going to design a web page, and then you can click this link, and then it's going to open the end result. So in just I think less than 5 minutes, you can have this nicely interactive reports. You even have a map that you can interact to see what the countries, what is AI readiness scores, right? And then continue, you can see the market analysis, the regional investment strategies and growth ROIs, impacts, and ROI projections, and some strategies, and risk management, things like that. I mean, all of this is just done in minutes. I mean, I think it's really if a team is building this, you probably need to know how to do the coding. You need to how to search for data and then do all the data analysis and put out nicely report. It's going to take a few days at least, right? So another demo I'm going to show you is about the data analysis agent. So we work with the retail companies to help them to, what they need to do is just upload one Excel sheet. And then we are going to base on the Excel sheet put with all the SKU and sales data. It's going to do the sales prediction and also doing all this inventory management. You can also talk to the data, right? Yeah. So it's a very simple demo. It's show you, I mean, very easily you can just have this digital employee helping you to do very specific task and then do it faster and do it better. Yeah. Right. So here I think, let me, to be clear, I mean, deploy agents is not just the finish line, right? True transformation requires organizations themselves to change. So At our company, we guide enterprise through those 3 stages. From 0 to 1 is to define, align with leadership, choose the right use cases, and assess the data readiness. And from 1 to 10, we try in the build phase. We form the cross-functional teams and scale the MVPs into repeatable modules. And from 10 to 100, we're trying to scale, do a scaling up, establish a governance, create platforms, and embed AI native practice across the whole company. So transformation is not a one-time project. It's a journey of a capacity building. So that's why I often say AI is not something you buy. AI is something you become. And I think along this journey, because I mean, why people working with us? So firstly, I think because we are full stack, we provide consulting, we build server models, we build industrial vertical models, and we deliver enterprise platform and agents and applications. So our flagship product, including Pop AI, which is it's a consumer product transforming knowledge work starting from PowerPoint. And to enterprise, we have a platform called WorkWise. It's creating the digital employees for enterprise. And we engage at CEO level, ensuring AI strategies that directly connect to delivery. And we also scaling rapidly with project in Southeast Asia, China, Central Asia, Australia, and Middle East. Our revenue grows, more than 300%. And we combine strategy inside of a consulting firm and the technical power of a world-class AI lab. And I would like to just also introduce our founder and CEOs. So the company is founded and led by Dr. Kai-Fu Lee, a pioneer of AI for over 3 decades. So he built foundational speech recognition at Apple, led AI research at Microsoft Research Asia, and founded Google China. And today we are trying to shaping the future enterprise AI altogether. And what makes us different is that we are not building AI for research papers. We are building AI to reimagine what agents can do for industrials. And we are building server models for nations. And we are building digital employee for enterprises. And we are building AI native organizations for the future. Yeah. So to close, so the journey from models to agents, from tools to outcomes, and from projects to AI native employees has already begun. So at Zero-Day AI, we are here as the partner for enterprises, so we can deliver sovereign control enterprise agents and embed it ourselves into the consultation. And we also help governments to build the sovereign models, the national models, and we also help enterprise to not just adopt AI, but become AI native. So that's all my content today. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Ning. Brilliant presentation, and thank you for sharing the journey and all your insights in this process. Thank you very much. And now I turn to our next speaker, Dr. Mara Saudi, and in the interest of time, I just pass it on to her directly. Thank you. Go ahead, Mara.
Thank you, Dr. Nagda. Thank you, Wolfgang and Dr. Ning for your fruitful presentations and insights. I would like to take a sort of a different approach a bit, which is the tensions that we are currently facing and when it comes to AI models. So I will put it in like 4 points. There is still a problem when it comes to the balance between the risk of losing money and resources from a side. I am talking as an entrepreneur and a business, or when governmental decision makers are thinking, and the cost of learning through trial and error so we can innovate. So this sort of tension and balance that we are seeking is currently a problem to many of us. And that leads us to another point, which is related to the affordability. So do we afford this cost of learning, this cost of trial and error? Is it affordable by everyone, by all countries, by the North, by the South? And what are the values that we are seeking when we are using an AI model? And even if using AI model is something necessary for all the cases that we are targeting. above all this, what I do fear on personal basis is that we might be building a sort of virtual territories and emperors, which causes eventually the imbalance of power, because not everyone is building their own models, but we are using models coming to us by few companies, by few. So yes, I do agree. Since I'm in the academic field, and also I have a company, that AI is something that very promising, that can help us to do many things better. But at the same time, those 4 points, when it comes to the cost of learning, the affordability, and the values that we are seeking, and the imbalance of power, I see that they are really and seriously important 4 points that we need to consider before saying that we taking the decision of using an AI model or not. So when it comes to the advantages of using an AI model, yes, it's automation and efficiency. It's promising us for scalability. So whenever you go as a company seeking investment or to be a successful company, you need to be scalable. So AI is offering you this sort of scalability. The accuracy and precision, we say that, okay, in some domains, the accuracy and the precision of AI models is much better than the human experts, or in some cases, it can outperform human experts. And then it comes the personalization, and especially in the field of education, how we are collecting the data, or even in the entertainment field, when it comes to something like Amazon or Netflix or Spotify, and how they are using the data to personalize what you want, to get data about you and start personalizing and guiding you through the platform. The data analytics and how we can detect the hidden patterns is also something else. And the cost reduction is above all for any company. We would like to reduce our costs. So using AI models is very promising when it comes to the cost reduction. Innovation, decision support, and accessibility, all those things are AI promising. But on the other side, we have the bias and fairness issues. If it was trained on poor data, now we are facing the bias and fairness issues. The job displacement. Many companies now are starting in job displacements, and banks here, even in Egypt, started job displacements because of the technology, without planning. What are we going to do with all those people that we are asking them to leave their jobs, especially for something like in the banking sector? If someone spent all the years just in studying the banking system and not involved that much in technology, we don't have a plan, I mean, to find other jobs to those people, and they are not that old enough. They could be in their mid-30s or 40s. So this is something that we need to think about. And the black box problem, in many cases we don't understand, or most of the cases with many models, we don't understand how the AI model took the decision, and the privacy, the security vulnerabilities, the high deployment costs, which is something I personally care about. All those resources, the energy resources, while the whole world is suffering from the lack of energy resources. So to build giant models and to keep feeding those models, what are sort of resources or energy resources that we can have to do all this? Do we afford to have all those resources or not? So those are general points. Not to mention, when it comes to the education, also the issue of dependence, which is something that might be a threat for many of the students. So I am not saying that we don't take what I'm saying, that AI models are not good for businesses. No, because I'm using some of them. I am using Gen AI in some of my work. But I mean that we need to have this balanced approach when we are taking the decision of using an AI model. When it comes to classifying the AI models according to the functionalities, we can say that we have around generally like 3 models that are currently available for businesses. We have the agnostic AI models that you give them some tasks and they can take some actions. For example, we use them in trading bots, in self-driving cars, in the personal assistants. We have the generative AI models, which is the most popular and most of us are using it, which is GPT, the DALI, the music language model, the generative adversarial networks, and all the content creation models that we are already using. And then we have the predictive models that can be used in sales, in medical diagnosis, and in crediting and fraud detection. So all those models, any business can use from them. If I would like my business to focus on the content creation, then generative AI models might something I would consider. If I am talking about the prediction and analysis or the fintech, it might be the predictive or agentic AI models are the most that I would like to have. Again, I would like to mention that we have to put in mind the failures before promising with the successes. So we can learn from what is going on, and we can innovate and move further. So there are many cases of failures when it comes to those models. All of them are recent cases from one of AI coding assistants that deleted production data in one of the companies, and also the AI bubble. So all of us for sure read about that company in India that took a lot of investment when it comes to AI, and it turned out that it's not an AI, it's a human beings beyond it doing the coding, and this is a loss of a huge amount of investment. Brook had already its own issues when it comes to violent and other model published fake books, and we already are experiencing many researchers finding themselves published in research which they didn't already written. So this is in concluding one word, I would like to say that we need to have this balanced perspective when we are the usage of AI models in our businesses. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Marwa. This is a very interesting perspective from, the angle of Egypt and the Global South, which complements our analysis. So I turn it over to Felix to also share his insights. Please, Felix, go ahead. Felix, we cannot hear you. Are you there?
Yes, I'm there. I'm just sharing my screen. That's it.
Thank you so much.
All right, can you see my screen?
Yes, we see different. Yes, we see it. Thank you so much.
Perfect. Yeah, hello everyone. My name is Felix. I work for the GIZ here in Egypt as part of the special initiative Decent Work for Just Transition. We focus on job creation, but also working conditions improvement, and in general fostering the private sector in Egypt. So we do work a lot with the private sector in Egypt, and we get experience and insights from the SMEs in Egypt a lot. So this session is actually more like an awareness session based on the talks I have with SMEs, and based on another session we had in December where we're also focusing on AI. I kind of pivoted away a little bit from the tools that are easy to use and more on like a practical approach how to include AI in your businesses. Unfortunately, this as a teaser, unfortunately the actual work has to be done by you or by the SMEs themselves. But I just wanted to give you like a few thoughts to start with, and some kind of starting point. Just very briefly, because from the very good talks before, we already had a lot of insights, but I just wanted to start with a quote from Satya Nadella. He's the CEO of Microsoft, and he was saying, AI is the defining technology of our time and will transform every industry and every business function. I mean, obviously, we all know this, but I just wanted to stress and highlight this importance again, because like the steam engine for the industrial revolution or the internet for the digital age, AI will actually shape the next era, and it's more than just software. It changes how we work, how work is being done, how decisions are being made, and how business are growing in the future as well. So if you're like a managing function at the SME or a company, you have to keep this in mind, because it's really important. And this brings me to my next slide, to start the change now. Because let's look at the challenge that we currently have. It's that 30% of employees, and I think we heard this from Wolfgang earlier, that our work is as efficient as we can. And additionally, especially in Egypt, we're facing challenges like higher operational costs, right? Inflation, high energy prices, imports are getting more expensive, and still some managers don't see AI as something that has to be implemented now. They see it's too complex, too expensive, so they delay adoption. And this is actually, it's a missed opportunity, because AI is predicted to contribute like 15 trillion to the global economy by 2030, so. And the Middle East and Egypt being like one of the key players in North Africa, they can capture up to 300 billion of this. So Egypt, but also the SMEs, they can actually report productivity gains of up to 40%. So I think it's really important that you, if you work for an SME or a company, that you seize this opportunity now. And the solution are these more affordable AI tools. And also Wolfgang was speaking about how AI is more accessible now. And hence this is the solution to the challenge, and then also to leverage the opportunity that we have at hand. So before I go into how this can be done, I want to demystify some misconceptions about AI, right? Wolfgang, sorry, there's a bit of overlap, but I will keep it very brief. First of all, AI is too expensive. This might have been true in the past, where it was super expensive to develop these large language models or AI models in general. They required large servers, they required a huge investment, big budget, but this is not the case anymore, right? There are many cloud-based tools, there are many tools that start from as cheap as $10 a month. And especially for small businesses, this might be all you need, right? So it's not as expensive anymore. The second thing is AI is only for big companies. This might have been true in the past as well, where only multinationals like Amazon or Microsoft would have had the budget and the capacities to actually implement AI. But today, the reality is that SMEs are often the ones who benefit the most from AI, or not the most, but a lot from AI, because AI helps them compete with fewer resources, right? And the third one is AI needs advanced English or coding skills. Especially being now in an Arabic-speaking country, I can say that there's a lot of AI solutions being developed in the regions, and also the ones that are not being developed in the regions, they focus on an Arabic-speaking audience. And there's a trend towards no-code AI. So this means you don't have to program; you just use natural language to get results. It's drag and drop. It's easy to understand. So summarizing this, it means you have to start small. You start smart. I will come to that in a second. And most importantly, you have to start now, because AI really offers you it's a necessity if you want to stay competitive, but at the same time, it's an opportunity to leapfrog over some developments that one might have missed in the past years. So this brings me to the next point, what does it mean to act smart at small now? The most important thing is that you start from the pain point. You have to start from a real business pain point, not from AI itself, because there's a lot of tools out there. There's a tool for everything, but you have to really identify these repetitive, time-consuming tasks that are in areas with high costs or high error rates. to start like as a starting point for your AI adoption. Then the second point is start small, means you have to start piloting, right? With incremental transformation. So this means that the coffee shop in Zamalek here in Cairo doesn't have to revolutionize the business, right? If you just miss, let's say, orders on WhatsApp, you can just add like a simple AI chatbot and answer like some of the orders right away, and it's already like something that you've implemented with AI, and from there you can take it a step further with low-cost tools, small processes, and you can measure the results and build on them. And this brings me to the third point. Like, don't wait for the perfect conditions, because first of all, there will never be perfect conditions. And secondly, competitors are already experimenting. And they are moving fast, and they will be able to outperform or be more competitive in no time. So you really have to start now. So as you can see, I'm trying to bring this sense of urgency here because I really do think it's important to act as fast as possible to stay competitive. So what does it mean to focus on real business use cases, right? To keep it short, there's a use case for every sector, like horizontal, vertical. There's a use case for everything, but basically pretty much everything. Just to give you some examples, right? Like for retail e-commerce, there might be problems with overstocking or stockouts. So the AI solution would be demand forecasting and AI using for the inventory. For logistics, it's high fuel costs, late deliveries. There's an AI solution for route optimization and predictive maintenance. And the list goes on and on and on. So there's an AI basically for everything, as I said. And just from like a very small desk research I was doing, I was able to come up with like an AI solution for, as I said, all of these problems. And there's also other solutions that are made in Egypt that maybe take into consideration the cultural background or the business background in Egypt. So it's really not about finding the right tool, but it's more about finding your specific use case. So the good news is, yeah, there is a tool for everything. But the bad news is that with everything, like if you think about it as like a innovation that you want to bring to your business, right? As an entrepreneur, you have to find the pain point that people are willing to pay for. And you basically have to do the same with your company, right? So this means you have to understand your company and you have to do certain steps, right? So you would follow the money. Like which inefficiency actually costs you money? Is it fuel wasted? Is it wasted stock? Is it overtime? So for example, like a delivery truck that drives unnecessarily on routes. Then you map these pain points, so you have like an overview. You check for customer frictions. Where do customers complain or face delays? Like, is this maybe they wait 4 hours for a service to default, right? You look for time savings. Where do employees spend hours on low value work? And when you've done all this, as I said, you map your pain points and you benchmark to your peers, because you can copy a lot from other companies that are doing similar products or services globally, but also locally or regionally. And you see, okay, what are they doing? How are they implementing AI in their day-to-day operations, right? I mean, we all know that if you order something from restaurants, some restaurants, they offer AI chatbots. Some restaurants don't. It's a clear competitive disadvantage if your answer to your question is not answered in real time. And this brings me to the next point. When you've mapped like the pain points, you have to somehow prioritize, right? And you want to go for, like, this is just an example of the metrics that you could be using, is which problem has a high impact if you solve it, and which problem is easy to implement. Because I think by Dr. Ning we saw some like very nice, very sophisticated solutions, and I think those solutions are really great. But there's also, if you don't want to build them from scratch yourself, there's also already existing solutions out there that are super easy to implement, that can have a huge impact on your business, right? So you're looking for the red dot in the corner, like the quick wins, like let's say, a Cairo retailer that uses an AI plugin for weekly stock demand, right? It prevents overstock and reduces waste, and it's easy to implement and has a high impact. Okay? So to summarize, what you want to do is just a step-by-step approach to AI integration. You select the right tools, and I didn't. Maybe the title was a bit missing. I didn't include tools because there's a lot of tools out there, and it really depends on your personal business scenario, like use case. You prepare your data and processes. Here again, it's not important that you have a lot of data. Like the more data you have, the better, obviously. But it's also like just very small data about so like some customer data will already make a difference. However, for AI, always is true, like garbage in, garbage out. So the data must be somehow organized and sorted. Then you pilot and test this solution. You have to train your staff. That's also a very important part because you need to raise awareness and also acceptance among your staff in order for the AI solution to be implemented, right? Because if they don't agree to what you're doing, they won't use it, and you have to also make sure that they don't feel that the AI is somehow cannibalizing themselves, but that it frees them up for more interesting, less repetitive work. And then you scale optimize, and like once the pilot is successful, you gradually expand to other processes. You continuously monitor KPIs to optimize performance, and you collect the data and measure it. And now the good news, we've got your back in this because we're actually planning on a project where we support SMEs in the implementation of AI. So what we are planning to do is a webinar something like this, where we introduce the power of AI, and then you can apply it with your use case, and we'll provide like the AI specialists to use already existing solutions to be integrated into your business. So follow our LinkedIn, and you will see when this project is happening. That's it from my side. I'm happy to receive questions, and thanks a lot for your time.
Thank you very much, Felix. It's excellent insights on practical, hands-on advice, and also for the good news. That's wonderful. I thank you again, and I pass it on to my colleague Surajit to moderate the Q&A session. Over to you, Surajit.
Thank you, Dr. Nagla, and thanks to all the speakers for their wonderful inputs and insights. I see in the chat there are a few questions that have already been answered, but there was one question by Hisham Wael. May I request one of the speakers to take that on? Basically, he's saying whether AI agents have to be tailored for each organization or function. Any quick inputs from any of the speakers on this? Dr. Wolfgang, Dr. Ning?
I think it's something for Ning. He's still around. But otherwise I can try. Like the question was about let me say it differently. Like if you look at the large language, like at AI today, it's a general purpose technology. So it's not about desk, it's about like a general purpose, and then you just put in everything what you want, and then they can answer your questions. So it's something what we can say about the agents. It depends on what kind of tools the agent has. So for example, are they able to surf the web? Are they able to access databases? Are they able to access your documents? And let's say the agents are general purpose technologies, and then they should be able to do that. But again, as in the example with the inflation prediction, you always need to be careful, like how serious you take the results. And just to add like something from my experiences, whenever I do some kind of deep research about topics I know very well, they're rarely accurate. So they're always like mistakes. And then just do the agents in the areas you know best, and then check the quality, and then consider like how good will it be in other areas which you don't know as well. So with having said that, it's a general purpose technology. And
thanks, Dr. Wolfgang. I hope, Hisham, that answers the question. I see no further questions on the chat that were unanswered. Let me open it up to the audience quickly if there are any participants in the audience that want to ask a question at this time. If not, then we would then close the session. I see Mohammed with the hand raised. Yeah, Mohammed, please go ahead. Mohammed, can you hear us? Please go ahead. Yeah, you can ask your question. Just unmute yourself. Meanwhile, I also see Dr. Ning is back. Dr. Ning, do you want to take any your observations on the questions raised by Hisham? Wolfgang did answer it, but anything you want to add over and above that?
Hi, sorry. I was offline just now. Yeah. Sorry. I need.
Mohammed, can you give us a second? Let's just hear the comments from Dr. Ning, and then I'll come back to you. Thank you. Dr. Ning, are you able to hear us?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
So there was a question by Hisham while on the chat. Do you want to add any comments on that?
Yeah, sure. I mean, how can we ensure the AI agents align with the human value? I think, of course, it's a very important and critical question. So I think at our practice is that we do actually have a safety system to make sure that models and agents actually is working, is the trend and work for the human values. Firstly, at a model level, it's going to just clean all those harmful, and some of the corpus is not aligned with the human values. And we are going to remove all of that during the pre-training and fine-tuning stage. And also during the model usage, we are trying to have a guardrail to monitor all the user inputs and model outputs and try to remove the harmful response as well. And at the agent level, we are also doing a lot of engineering methodology to ensure it's grounded to truth. So we are using a lot of things that like improve the search, the workflow, and then do a lot of things to trying to make sure the agents work. But all this is still we need to make sure human is in the loop to monitor all the critical decisions, so they can really sometimes the agent just go wrong. So we need to have human to have as a safety guardrail to ensure all the important decisions are audited by the human. Yeah, I think that's the current way to go. Yeah.
Thank you, Dr. Ning, and thanks, Ishan, for that question. Let's go to you, Mohammed. Over to you. Please ask your question.
Okay. So my question was about the data. I think Wolfgang did answer my question here when I was talking about what happened when we use the model to analyze some of our client data, where we have like NDAs, and these are sometimes critical information that we don't want it to go out into the public. But according to the answer I got, is that basically it does go out to the public somehow because it goes into the training data of the model. How can we safely use AI models to make sure that something like this doesn't happen? Because it would be a breach of what we are doing to our client.
Dr. Wolfgang, you want to add any quick comments on that over and above your answer that you had typed earlier?
The question is like, if you look at let me say it differently. The concerns about NDAs and data privacy is one of the reasons why SMEs are quicker to adapt AI, because they have less concerns about using the data, because there's not much IP they need to protect. I'm talking about like small companies, which not a lot of like research and development. There are a couple of things where you can just say you don't upload the customer data. I think that's fine. If you do any type of deep research, I think that's fine. But I wouldn't, for example, if you do, I mean, what I put in the chat, there was something about the Hugging Face, where you can download 2 million models. And if you download the models, it's your model. So there's no one else who will use it. The only concern is if you use one of the foundation models for your business, then it's like problematic. But if you apply your own models, I think that's again fine. And then the other thing is that all of the bigger companies, they have some kind of corporate tiers. So if you pay a little bit more, then they guarantee you that they are not going to use your data for the trading purposes.
Thanks, Dr. Wolfgang. Any other questions any of the audience has, please raise and go ahead. I don't think we have any further questions, so let me take this opportunity to thank once again all the speakers and all our esteemed partners for making this event happen. I really appreciate your time and all the support. I will also hand it over to Dr. Nagla for her closing remarks. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Surajit. Let me also start by thanking our partners, GIZ Egypt and the Sustainability and AI Business Action Center, supported by University of Sussex Business School in the UK. I would like to thank our speakers, Dr. Wolfgang, Dr. Ning, Dr. Marwa, Mr. Felix, and of course you, Surajit. Thanks to participants from the audience, great interaction, great questions. An invitation to participants to please continue to engage with us, the business community, follow us on LinkedIn. And I reiterate also Felix's invitation to, continue to follow GIZ. We're very happy to continue also this collaboration and this energy. A reminder that our observatory, the MENA Observatory on Responsible AI, is established to inform, shape, and monitor policy making and practice related to the responsible use of AI for development and inclusion in the MENA region. So what we are doing here is at the heart of what we do. So thank you for contributing to our work and helping us achieve our mission for the benefit of everyone. Last but not least, I'd like to thank the team at the Access to Knowledge for Development Center and our MENA Observatory, Nuran, Alia, Khadija, Mariz, Nada, Nagam, Nadine, Basma, and Aisha. And thank you all for your time. Have a wonderful day and looking forward to the next collaboration. Have a great day. Thanks again. And Alia, of course, last but not least. Alia is the manager behind us all. I mean, she's just there. So thank you, always the rock behind. Thank you so very much. Take care. Bye-bye now.
Thank you very much, everyone.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Have a nice day.